Mr. Vizier was defeated twice. On his first attempt at threat level 2, he wanted to deploy an army made up of grunts. He thought it would synergize well with King Baldwin's unique abilities. Sadly, the forces were crushed and the walls were breached. It was probably too early for this strategy, he told himself. On his third attempt, he held his head high and relied on what had already worked, a conventional army. Early on, Mr. Vizier focused on the economy and used King Baldwin's rally ability to deploy units. His resolve, shaken by earlier defeats, made him hesitant to challenge his fate. When the tome of questionable wisdom surfaced again, he defiled it without hesitation. Morale meant more damage. At this threat level, he noticed that battles were playing out differently. He knew perseverance meant success. A pig rider, accompanied by a few goblins, approached. Normally, this was a piece of cake to handle. This time, however, they were slaughtering the defensive forces and damaging the walls. It got a bit scary at that moment. To increase the damage output, he wanted to deploy crossbowmen and acquired an archery range. The first artifact he got his hands on was exciting and needed. Bloodbound brick meant that whenever a unit died, the castle walls were repaired. It was a grotesque sight, to say the least. Mr. Vizier felt lucky about the upgrades he was getting. He increased the damage of all swordsmen. Now he was feeling somewhat safe. Goblins were having a tough time keeping up with his forces, and at this point, he didn't even have any swordsmen on the battlefield. Banners gave soldiers a visible symbol to die for. In this case, they also healed them. Someone had to measure the grain supplies again. Lunatics. Defeating Gorzog yielded an amazing legendary artifact, the Rusty Bell. At the start of each wave, 2 goose riders would come to his aid. Then came an invitation from a queen mother asking motherly questions. She sought diplomatic relations with Mr. Vizier. Being a bit short on money, he sold the invitation instead. Geese on the battlefield, a blueprint of a beehive at the ready. He dreamed of the day he would see them together defending the town. And here they were. Planning for the future, he acquired a catapult factory. War engines were never on the menu. This was exciting. Some weird people, cultists, gathered in the woods. Mr. Vizier banished them and, in return, gained an artifact. Although negotiating with their leader was also an interesting option, maybe next time, he thought. The hospital he built was going to heal the troops as long as Mr. Vizier kept his eyes upon it. He didn't need wizards this time around. Earlier, the trader had brought an upgrade for the archers that made them stun enemies. Now, he had another on sale for the catapults. This was going to be a stunfest. With his breath attack, Volkar the dragon was able to do some serious damage. Relentless production of defensive units made him kneel and die nevertheless. There was no escaping his fate. Mr. Vizier had obtained a few upgrades for ranged units. The composition of his forces was beginning to pay off. The goblins were in disarray. Farto, a goblin emissary, offered peace. Mr. Vizier knew it was all lies and rejected the offer. A new and mighty opponent appeared, Malathrax. He was a dictator, a power-hungry warmonger. Mr. Vizier could not let a demon thrive. This demon lord had to be put down. On a trip, a scout reported a big tornado. Ever the benevolent leader, Mr. Vizier ordered his men to save their families. His good intentions always increased morale. The time had finally come. Malathrax was going to regret this day. Mr. Vizier thought it was time to work with other advisors as well. Silkweaver the spider was able to improve a random tile. He acquired 2 more tile seals and further buildings: Falcon's Camp, also known as the Berserker, Pumpkin Field, and Enchanted Stump. Defensive buildings included the Tesla Tower and Cannon. He secured 2 contracts that provided wine supplies to new settlements. And finally, he obtained a bunch of powerful spells. With that, it was time for some rest before facing the dangers ahead.